Well, the situation in Niger is also impacting Ghana, especially when it comes to the Ghanaian business community. The closure of Niger's land and air borders have created difficulties in cutting produce to Ghana, which is also having some ripple effects, including the escalating prices in Ghana's market, which we'll discuss a bit later. But let's talk about health this afternoon as well. Because as we speak, more and more Ghanaians are taking alcohol. The worry is that many more young people in their productive years are leaving us with no option than to classify them as alcoholics, or for us to say we have an alcohol epidemic. The nation is indeed drunk, as the data is pointing to us. So we can just get you the graphics of what it is that the consumption rate is when it comes to alcohol drinks in Ghana, which is set to reach nearly 50,000 tons by 2026. That's a significant hike in the level of consumption here in the country. In 2021, for instance, the figure stood at 38,000 tons, representing a year-on-year increase of 4.3% since 2017, and demand has risen by some 5.9%. Ghana was the 39th biggest consumer of alcoholic drinks in 2021, with Indonesia overtaking them to reach 38,000 tons. We have India, Japan, and Russia, which were second, third, and the fourth biggest consumers, respectively. We know that that figure is beginning to paint that picture that you see on the screens now, with 23.5% of Ghanaians taking in alcohol out of the 7.2 million sampled, representing 7.2 million, I should say. And then you have the trend also moving in from 2019 all the way to 2023, where we are now. And the projection is that it will keep escalating to some 304.1, as we're seeing on the screens there. So it doesn't look like in the next 5 years it may come down. On average, each person consumes some 12.75 liters of alcohol annually, and it's beginning to become a concern for many. In Ghana today, as we speak, it is so easy to find huge trucks filled with alcohol being transported across the country, mainly for consumption. Well, yesterday, authorities met to discuss a tightening of the national alcohol policy to help reduce and promote the abstinence and also to reduce harmful alcohol consumption. So shortly, I will be discussing the plans to adhere to this, as it has a significant impact on our social order and productivity at work when it comes to healthcare and overall safety and security of the country, bottom line, the economy. Before we do that, though, let's take you to the Blue Kiosk.
Ghana has currently launched an alcohol regulation which aims at controlling the sale, production and consumption of alcohol. According to statistics over the years, the intake of alcohol has increased in Ghana. Today, I'm with members of the Ghana Drunkards Association, which has an AKA. I'm here with the president. Moses, what is the other name?
Beverage Consumers and Bar Owners of Ghana Association.
Moses, why do you drink in the first place?
Yeah, drinking is part of the human life. So without drinking, you cannot survive on this earth. So definitely as humans, or as even animals on earth, definitely you have to drink to survive. That is why there's a saying that the body contains 70% of drinking, and 30% of food. So which means that.
But did they emphasize on whether alcohol or whether not alcohol?
So alcohol has been part. That is why even in the Akan language it is called ensa, which means it does not finish. Okay. We came to meet it, and we will go and live it for generations to come. So you cannot eliminate drinking in the society. Then even in the medical language, they say it gives something like euphoria, you know, especially when it comes to the alcohol side.
So let me come to you. Why I can see you're enjoying your drink.
Yeah.
Why do you take in alcohol?
Like my president just explained, alcohol is part of everyday activities on our land as Africans. our culture, because we use alcohol even in everything that we do, like marriage, funeral, naming, name it.
So I think that's the reason why I take in alcohol, to keep my body fit, but not to abuse it.
As you can hear what our president said, it helps in our human system. We need a percentage of alcohol inside our human system, and also it helps you in terms of depression. You understand? Yeah, so that is.
So anytime you are depressed, you just try to take in alcohol a little. All right, Moses. Now, you know there's a new regulation when it comes to alcohol intake. The government is now trying to move the time of alcohol advertisements from 8 to 10 p.m. What do you think about that?
You see, initially, I was thinking that FDA and other institutions that regulate the licensing, the consumption, and the advertisement of alcohol would have organized a stakeholder meeting before even releasing such statements to the masses. Because apart from voting, have you ever heard NCC moving around with vans? And children under 18 don't drink. The only moment you hear NCC speaking is, my vote is your power, come out and vote. The sales, the advertisement, and the licensing has a process that they go through. Now, here lies the case. We sit on our television, even here at headquarters, watching our TV. Then we hear that, now, you pick a bottle here, you read botanical names on it, Kaya Senegalesis, Carica papaya. How many of the drunkards here are educated to read Kaya Senegalesis, which is mahogany?
So you think that there should be more education when it comes to alcohol consumption?
Not even education, there should be more of stakeholder meetings.
Okay.
Where
they should involve you.
Involve the consumers, the
Drunkards Association.
Let me put it that way.
But now, you know, does that the movement of the time, does that have any effect on alcohol consumption? Let me come to you. Would they have any effect on your alcohol consumption?
Well, from my side of view, when you don't do proper advertisement for the alcohol in the system, that means there are a lot of bad alcohol out there.
But do you need advertisements before you drink?
It's part of the education, like my president is saying.
So with what you are taking right now, did you see an advert somewhere before you took the drink? The advertisements when it comes to alcohol?
I can say yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, because maybe I've been drinking, I won't mention names, but I've been drinking one particular of alcohol for some time. And then I see on television a new brand, and they add a lot of things to entice you. This one helps in your waist pains, this one helps in your headache. So maybe I might be drawn to that, to go and try to see if my waist pains will go or my headache will go. How is FDA explaining to us what we are drinking?
Yeah, it will affect, because there are some alcohol in the market right now that when you take them, you like, there are some when you take, you feel headache, some too you can even get stomach pain through it, because some of the alcohol in the market right now are not appropriate for consumption, because
even though it's FDA approved.
Yeah, some they are FDA approved, but I can say it's not all, like the way the president was saying, it is not all that FDA have checked it and approved it.
More education should be done, so that you know how to take in or the amount of alcohol you should take in. You don't just get up and be drinking anyhow.
I heard the GRA boss saying they are implementing a health tax on alcohol. Now, with the health tax, I'm asking the GRA boss, what percentage of that health tax from alcohol are they using to build cardio centers so that in case somebody have kidney problem, they can run dialysis for the person for free. Drinking alcohol is part of giving tithe, paying tithe. Now, if we stop drinking, imagine the unemployment rate that is going to create in this country.
My last question, would you want to quit with all these regulation which is going on, taxes that you're going to pay? Would it affect your drinking? Like, are you willing to quit? As in, today I'm up and I'm no longer taking in alcohol anymore. Would you want to do that?
What will make me not to drink or to go and drink is not the adverts that I see on TV.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And it's not even the taxes. Okay.
But we are creating awareness. If I say we, I mean me and my president and the association.
No, I'll not quit taking in alcohol because I know that what benefit I get from the alcohol. And even talking about the drinking, and even when you checked in our society, in our tradition, we have important use of alcohol. Even in the Bible is there. Why is that when Jesus Christ was performing his miracle, they said he turned water into what? Wine, but not into food or any other thing. When you check Psalm 87 verse 1 or what, they said God himself take in alcohol. And his whole...
It's in the Bible?
Yeah, it's in the Bible.
Which verse again?
Psalm 87 1. Psalm 87 verse 1. That he's holding a cup which is full with wine, which the color is pink. So that means in the Bible itself there's alcohol inside.
For me to quit alcohol, I don't think I will quit alcohol because I alone know what alcohol does in my system.
Okay.
But personally, I won't quit.
Just as you heard from the members of the Drunkards Association, they are not quitting anytime soon, even with the regulations that are being imposed by the authorities. They are not quitting. For Joy News, Jacqueline Ansuma Yeboah.
Well, the Mental Health Authority made a presentation at the forum held in Accra yesterday on dealing with the problem. Dr. Akufo-Addo is with the Pontine Mental Hospital. We'll get to that for you shortly, but I want to bring in our guests who are helping us to do the discussion even before we hear excerpts of that roundtable. Dr. Olivia Ejekumwa Boateng is the head of tobacco and substance abuse, joining us from the Directorate of Food and Drugs Authority. We also have Pearl Setekla, who's spokesperson for the National Road Safety Authority, and Dr. Thomas Anaba, who is the CEO and Medical Director of that's the Habana Medical Services in Tamale, currently gunning to be a member of Parliament on the ticket of the National Democratic Congress and to help trend laws as he believes in. Also joining us is Baba Sadiq, who's the CEO for the 3 Music Network, who raises concern about the existing policy during the Joy FM Showbiz Roundtable discussion, and one of it actually happened just last week. So thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. Let's start off from the perspective of the FDA, because there's a need for us to know, first of all, about the rising figures that we're seeing. Dr. Selassie, is there any, and just before we get to Dr. Selassie, from the perspective of the FDA, is there something really that can be done to check these increasing numbers in terms of policy? It appears we're having some challenges there reaching the FDA, but Dr. Thomas Anapa is with us. Dr. Anapa, the figures we are seeing now are quite staggering. In your view, what's the possible impact when it comes to public health?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me, and good afternoon to your cherished viewers. I think the impact of alcohol is well known, and then we shouldn't belittle it, and then the side effects of it is also well known. For public health perspective concerns, I would say excessive consumption of alcohol is very detrimental to one's life. it is not that one cannot take alcohol, but when you take it so excessively and so frequently, you may create some damage to your own body and also create problems for the society in which you live. For your own self, you can develop simple things like headaches, that after drinking you can get some headaches. You can get dehydrated. You can get nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. If you drink alcohol excessively, you can even get a heart attack. That is for yourself. Long-term effect of alcohol consumption would cause some modification in the way your brain functions. That is where the psychiatrists would come in to try to investigate. That would need a very long-term solution for you to resolve. But for the society, people who drink a lot in society, when they are with their peers or when they are with people, they behave in a way that it is not good. Their behavior changes. They don't feel shy. If they are drivers, they can lead to accidents. If they are with people who feel shy, they can cause them to be unhappy. They can even insult people without knowing they are insulting them. Sometimes they can even pee on themselves and spoil the environment in which you are. So all this is not good for the society. People who drink a lot and become uncontrolled, become dangerous among the people they are living with. So those are some of the effects. And the economic effect of overdrinking is what one of the drunkards, the president, said. It will cause more people to go to hospital to seek for medical solution. That will put a burden on the economy of the country and the finances of the country. So it's not only to they themselves, but to the society and also to the economy at large. So alcohol consumption, excessive alcohol consumption, improper alcohol consumption can cause problems for oneself, the society, and the economy at large.
I see, but just as we've seen from the guests who were speaking to earlier, they call themselves the Drunkard Association on a lighter side, by the way. They seem to be bringing in the cultural aspect that in almost all of our daily lives and all of our activities that we have, some element of appeal, as we call it, will go into the system.
No, yes, alcohol consumption, it has been there ever since time memorial, and it is even seen in the Bible. It is true. You see, a family that drinks, definitely children growing up from that family may tend to drink. They will tend to drink.
Wow.
P.S. If you are moving with friends who like drinking, one day you'll be forced to touch alcohol. I have Muslim friends who drink. I don't drink, but I don't see how they got it. When I ask them, it's because of peer friends. If you also have a mental problem, you can tend to drink thinking that it will solve your problem. Some people recently, look, some juju makers, some traditional power makers will tell you drink this, drink that, and some of them contain alcohol. People drink it and they hook to it. Some drink it for fun. Like in Japan, drinking is for fun. Even government promotes drinking to bring in money. Like they were saying, if you stop drinking in Ghana, people will go bankrupt, companies will close down. So it's used for social entertainment, and it's also used for economic benefit to the country if it is drunk well. You see, so what he was saying was not wrong. I think our peers and society in which we live sometimes encourage us to drink. You go to any party and there must be alcohol. Even now, even some Muslim parties, you go and they have alcohol at some special item somewhere that people have to go and get to drink. So it's becoming a problem really in Ghana. I remember we had this conversation during fasting time, and alcohol sellers in one region in Ghana, I won't mention the name, were complaining that their market have gone down because almost everybody is fasting. It means that when they are not fasting, they are drinking. So if now Muslims are even joining in drinking, and those who are drinking, their children are drinking, and a lot of young people who are jobless just want to find something to amuse themselves for a while, alcohol is the cheapest thing they can get to drink. And it's very easy to get alcohol in Ghana to drink. That is one of the problems, and we can't stop it.
Okay, you are an expert in this field. You're also Executive Director for the Africa Center for Health Policy Analysis and Research. So you'll be helping us look at the possible policy options that we can consider. And Pearl, I'll come to you about the issue on road safety. But before then, we know that the Mental Health Authority made a presentation at a forum that was held in Accra yesterday dealing with the problem. We can listen to Dr. Selassie Adom, who is with the Pantime Mental Hospital.
We see the devastating effects of alcohol use in our practice. So every day I go to work, I'm likely to see somebody in the most productive age group, so in their 30s to 50s, who is dealing with the health and social and other implications of alcohol use. This is on a daily basis. And this patient is likely to have lost their income, so maybe they've been in multiple jobs, they've suffered dismissals and other things because of the use of alcohol. They may have lost family ties, and they may be dealing with other health issues as well, such as hypertension and diabetes. A lot of these people start using alcohol in their early years, so most likely in their adolescent years. And this becomes worse when they are in the working age groups, because there are more resources available for them to purchase alcohol. They are also likely to be using other drugs. So that's what we see. Most of the time, people don't use just alcohol. So once they start using alcohol, they'll be using other drugs like cannabis, which is the commonest that is available in our environment. So a lot of the strategies that we think can work should be targeted at the youth. And prevention is the key, like I've said already.
Also speaking at the same event, we had Labram Musa, Executive Director for the NGO Vision for Alternative Development, speaking.
All the diseases that we know of, it's impacted by the use of alcohol. And by use of alcohol, normally we are talking about the one that we consume as, people use for recreational purposes, and not the one that we use for, for pharmaceutical, and medicine. Right, and then higher cost of treatment beyond the reach of individuals, because I don't think any person would be able to go through the continuum of care when the person is afflicted with issues of alcohol problems. In fact, it's a problem of everyone once the persons, get that. And then it's also very important to note that the National Health Insurance Scheme does not cover many of these diseases. The chronic diseases such as breast, hypertension, heart diseases, most of them are not within the reach of the National Health Insurance. So you would find this product very cheap in the market. People access them. In fact, I used to say that if you have 50 pesos, you can buy a sachet of cigarettes, of alcohol to drink. Very, very cheap in the market. And eventually, when people fall sick and they go to the hospital, what happens? National Health Insurance is not able to. So the point is this. She mentioned that one of the most effective measures to regulate alcohol or health-harming product is by increasing taxes on these commodities. But the industry will not allow that to happen. Alcohol is causing many problems, yet little priority is given to it at all levels, be it global, national, everywhere. Little attention is given to alcohol. So there is, low acceptability, high acceptability, because it's part of our culture, as part of our social life, and we accept it as normal. But meanwhile, alcohol is not normal. And then also availability, is available everywhere. Anywhere you pass, you find, alcoholic, a joint, everywhere you find in Ghana, and then in many parts of developing countries, the blue stores are everywhere. Every small corner, you would find a blue kiosk. And this is what they say, alcoholic beverages. So indeed, there's a need for us to regulate very well.
But the danger we don't see here is about the possibility of the national security implications that we have, even when it comes to the safety on our roads. Pearl, that's why I want to hear from you. At the National Road Safety Authority, there's obviously concern about this increase or the rise in the numbers as we see.
Thank you very much for inviting me, and good afternoon to your cherished viewers. Rightly, as you said, as all other speakers have said already, alcohol intake affects society and importantly affects road safety as well. And so we are very much concerned. Already, as part of our sensitization, we will be sensitizing our drivers, both commercial and private, to abstain from drink driving. And so we'll be highlighting this sensitization program for a very long time, and we've partnered with NGOs to carry out this sensitization, because we cannot enforce the non-sale of alcohol in stations and terminals, it is for the police to do. We have to sensitize the drivers. And also, in the Road Traffic Act, it is a criminal offense to be caught drinking or caught driving and drinking. So they will hand you over to the police. And so we are very worried with this information that is out. But we are doing our possible best to let drivers understand the effect of drink driving. It is the third major cause of crashes in the country. And so this information, we'll take it up and liaise with our NGO partners and then heighten or strengthen our sensitization. That's what we are currently doing. So tomorrow we'll be having a meeting and strategize how to strengthen our sensitization on that. But we see that alcohol intake in commercial drivers has reduced per the private drivers because we don't have data on the private drivers. They do whatever they like. And so in effect, the statistics shows that their contribution to crashes in the country has risen above the commercial drivers. We will say that the commercial drivers are adhering to the directives that we've given so far, and they are abiding by the sensitizations that we've been doing for them. But we have a problem with the private drivers. Some of the youth take their father's vehicles, their parents' vehicles. They are not being monitored very well. And so that is where the problem lies now. And so we are formulating strategies whereby we could partner with other stakeholders and get to our private drivers, especially the youth, so that the way the commercial drivers are now adhering to our educational programs, they will do same, so that we will not find our youth driving and drinking and causing issues all over, especially during the weekends when they go out partying and other things.
Which means that definitely the aspect of policy is critical at this point in checking that.
Very critical. Very, very critical. There should be policy that will direct motorists, vehicle users, how to behave on the road, and then stringent measures put in place. That's why you see that one of our interventions is to enroll cameras at vantage points on our roads. And so when you are caught in reckless driving, then you will be sent where you have to be sent and check whether you are drunk, and then appropriate measures or sanctions will be meted out to you.
I see. Dr. Thomas Anaba, the point about policy, well, cameras may be part of the solution, but what more policy considerations can we do to tackle this? Because mind you, there's also a business opportunity or venture at stake. Any attempt to crack down on them may collapse the entire industry. So how do we balance that game?
Thank you. I think when they were counting of countries that consume alcohol, I think Russia was like one of the top countries consuming alcohol. But if you want to count road traffic accidents in Russia compared to countries that drink little alcohol, caused by alcohol, you record in countries that consume less alcohol than Russia, is because their people respect regulations. You have go for driver's license, they tell you that when you drink, don't drive. There's no need anybody to come and tell you again that when you are going to drive, don't drink. You've already learned it from the school before you got your license. Yes, there must be several regulations to help curb the excessive consumption of alcohol. One, production. How is alcohol produced or imported into the country? Can we regulate it? Can we regulate how much alcohol comes to the country? Can we regulate how much alcohol is produced in the country? Two, can we regulate how alcohol is being advertised in the media, the mass media, that will attract people not to drink alcohol? If we can regulate that, it will help. Can we regulate how alcohol is sold in shops and in bars? If we can regulate that, then it will work.
I guess the sale points also make sense, isn't it?
Yes, if at the sales point is not regulated, it can be regulated, one, by making the price so exorbitant that it's difficult for many people to buy. That is one thing. It could be regulated in a way that you can't buy more than this number of bottles in a day. But somebody buying to go home and drink Can you regulate that person? You can't regulate that person. That is where you need society, like churches, like mosques, like schools, like peers, to talk to those people to understand that, to understand the side effects of alcohol. If people really understand the side effect alcohol has on their body, alcohol has on the society after consuming it, and on the economy, they are well educated, I think it will reduce the numbers. Like I said, some people drink it just because of peer pressure. But if education is well established in a way that many of these young people who are hooked to alcoholism understand the damage they are doing to their own bodies, I tell you, they'll stop drinking.
Okay, but scientifically speaking, the same percentage of alcohol you need as an individual.
Sure, that is why I am insisting on excessive consumption of alcohol. If you drink 20 mils of alcohol in a day in your body, it will cause you much problems. But there are people who go and sit and drink 6 bottles of a particular beer in a day. Some will take 1/4 of the hot juice in a day. Some will take a vodka in a day, and then the rest. That is dangerous to your life. It will cause a permanent damage after a long-term consumption. So alcohol consumption is not forbidden. Yes, you can drink alcohol to stimulate certain hormones in your body. It makes you a little bit sharp, but excessive alcohol consumption, as I said, can cause permanent damages to your brain, to your blood vessels, to your liver, to your pancreas, and then the rest, and even to your way of reacting. So, the regulation is going to be very tough. The only thing that I think government can do is to make benefit of putting more taxes to make the price high, and also use part of those taxes to ring-fence it, like the young man said, the president said, create facilities whereby those who are alcohol abusers can go there for remedy. So if you want to go for counseling on alcoholism for withdrawal, at least there's money for a psychiatric doctor to come and treat you because you have taxed them already for that treatment. So I think we can bind the two things, but stopping it completely, stopping production, stopping the sales would also cause a problem because somebody just needs some small thought in a day to make himself happy. And you can't say you shouldn't do that. I see. That's the challenge there. We need to go, but Pearl, let me also hear from you and also Dr. Anaba finally as we wrap up. Pearl, what's the way forward and what's the plea from the National Road Safety Authority? You never cease to appeal to the public, do you?
As doctor has rightly said, we need to regulate the sales and intake of alcohol, and also we need more gadgets to track down drivers who drink and drive. When there is enforcement and people are punished such, I think it will come down. As he rightly said, there is more intake of alcohol in Russia, but when you compare their road carnages, it is less than those of us who come lesser than them. And so I think regulation and enforcement is the way to go, because there's a saying that education without enforcement is entertainment. And so we need to put out more rigorous enforcement and regulatory measures. And I think that will do the trick for us.
Okay. Dr. Anaba, your final words on this?
My final word is that we should appeal to people, increase education, and then put more taxes on alcohol so that those who consume so much will not have too much money to consume so much. That is the two things I think we should do.
I see. Interesting. And I just hope that your bid to Parliament is going on smoothly, I guess.
Thank you very much. It is. And I'm for your prayers so that I can succeed and get to Parliament.
Okay, then. We'll leave it here for now. Dr. Thomas Anaba, CEO of the Havana Medical Center, also joining us. And he is also sharing his thoughts on that pressing issue that we've been looking at today. Pearl Addo is also spokesperson for the National Road Safety Authority. You're watching The Pulse. We'll be right back.